Good examples out there on how we should now approach this crisis. One is Bill Gates. He's pursuing 7 different vaccines. He's also simultaneously building factories for all of those drugs, even if they don't work.
Of all the vaccine constructs, the 7 most promising of those, even though we'll end up picking at most 2 of them, we're going to fund factories for all 7. And just so that we don't waste time, things can reopen if we do the right things in the summer, but it won't be completely normal. You'll still be very worried. We may decide masks are important. Maybe something that, like China today, everybody who's walking around is wearing one of those. We'll have a lot of unusual measures until we get the world vaccinated. 7 billion people, that's a tall order, but it is where we need to get to, despite a lot of things in between now and then, to minimize the damage.
Now, another thing that just strikes me as so strange is the hostility and skepticism of so much the medical profession and the media to hydroxychloroquine combined with Z-Pact in treating this disease.
The cumulative data on trials, clinical trials that were valid, namely clinical trials that were randomized and controlled in the proper way, all of those trials show consistently that hydroxychloroquine is not effective in the treatment of coronavirus disease.
What the problem is, in a lot of those studies, they did very, very high doses, massive doses. All through the country, they did the REMAP study, the Solidarity trial, that was the World Health Organization's trial, and also the Recovery trial. They used 2,400 milligrams in the first day. They used massive toxic doses. The drug doesn't work when you give toxic doses.
Hydroxychloroquine combined with Z-Pact in treating this disease. It's been successful when tried.
It's a very safe drug. It concentrates in the lungs, 200 to 700 times higher in the lungs. It's an amazing drug because in the bloodstream, you're not going to get high levels, but you get massive levels in the lungs. So you're going to find yourself, if you're prophylaxed, as soon as the virus gets there, it's going to have a hard time getting through because the hydroxychloroquine blocks it from getting in. And then once it gets in, it won't let the virus, it won't let it actually replicate. It actually bring in zinc, and zinc will mess up the copy machine called the RDRP. So with the combination of drugs, it's incredibly effective in the early disease. By itself, it's incredibly effective as a prophylaxis.
But states are putting barriers in the way. I heard from a physician in Utah who said he wanted to pursue that treatment for a patient who's desperately ill, but can't. State won't let him. This is absolutely insane and absolutely bad for preserving life.
You predicted this pandemic almost to a T. Anything else you want to warn us about now that we should be looking forward to? Is there anything else that keeps you up at night?
Well, this is a naturally caused epidemic, and as bad as it is, it looks, if you have reasonable treatment, to have a 1% fatality. There could be epidemics that are worse than that, including ones that aren't naturally caused, that are a form of bioterrorism.
What the problem is, in a lot of those studies, they did very, very high doses, massive doses. All through the country, they did the REMAP study, the Solidarity trial, that was the World Health Organization's trial, and also the Recovery trial. They used 2,400 milligrams in the first day. They used massive toxic doses. The drug doesn't work when you give toxic doses.